Welcome. Yeah, welcome to the chat. Money never sleeps, and the cryptocurrency market is a testament to this. In the cryptocurrency market, yeah, welcome to the chat. Yeah, welcome to the chat. Money never sleeps, and the cryptocurrency market is a testament to this. The cryptocurrency market never sleeps. So, the essence of this training is for us to leverage on the cryptocurrency market and try our possible best to milk this digital market, these digital assets. As we have stated earlier, there are four rules. The first rule, we identify a liquidity zone, and we have learnt on liquidity zones. Otherwise, you can also call them support, strong support and resistance zones. So what does price do? Every time price breaks a strong support, what do price do? Price tries to find a new stronger support. And anytime price breaks a strong resistance, price tries to find a new stronger resistance. So immediately once we find a strong support or a strong resistance zone, personally for me, I prefer to use the weekly support and resistance, otherwise known as the weekly liquidity zones, which are the highs and lows of the week. So now let us go ahead and mark them and see the reaction of prices in these zones and how we could have performed with this particular trading strategy. So once you find a healthy liquidity zone and it is marked out, what do we wait for? We look for a break of such support or a break of such resistance. And once such support or resistance is broken, then what do we look out for? Which is the third rule, we look out for candlestick formations that align, which means it must not be broken by more than two candles to the upside. You see this is broken with just one candle. You can see the remaining of these candles are within the wick, so it must not be broken with more than two candles to the upside. That is the third rule. And what is the fourth rule? The fourth rule is that we scale down to the lower time frame to look out for our entries. So this is a very simple method to trade cryptocurrencies, and once you are very adept and good with this method, I can assure you that trading cryptocurrencies will be nothing more than a cakewalk. So now let us take a ride through the chart. Let us play with the charts. Let us familiarize ourselves with these zones. Let us familiarize ourselves with how this pattern forms, and let us familiarize ourselves with how we are going to be taking our entries in real time. So trading has never been much easier, as the essence of our lessons is to help traders see the market with clarity, which in turn would do what? Which in turn would increase our performance. And as we all know, in the market, we are paid based on our performance and not just based on how we analyze the chart. However, a very good analysis does what? It does grace to our performance. So what are we doing right here? On BCHUSD, we are marking out the liquidity zones, and we are going to look out for the reaction of price in these zones, so we would know what we are going to be looking out for, how we are going to be looking out for it, and why we are looking out for it. So now this is a liquidity zone, and you can see price broke, but price has broken this with more than two candles, one candle, second candle, third, fourth. So a zone like this, what do? We ignore it. The first rule is met: a healthy support and resistance zone, a liquidity zone. The second zone, the break. However, the third rule is not met as it is broken with more than two candles. So the only time you can go and look for your pattern is when it's broken with just one candle. So now let us head to the lower time frame as we have already marked out our zones. So let's look at the reaction of price in the lower time frame as we have already marked out zones that met two rules. The first rule, which is a liquidity zone. The second rule, a liquidity zone is taken out, that is either the support and the resistance. And as we have said earlier, once a resistance is broken, price tries to find a stronger resistance, and once the support is broken, price tries to find a stronger support. So let's go to the lower time frame and look at the reaction of price. Right here you can see that immediately price breaks the resistance of the previous week, price forms an order block. You can see this is like a railroad track. So actually we would have taken our entry in this zone, catching the top, but price does not give an opportunity for an entry here. So to take the entry, this is what you could have done. Pay very close attention. You mark 50%, and once you mark 50%, you can see that this zone is still very wide. Even after marking 50%, then we scale down to a lower time frame. We scale down to a lower time frame. Why are we scaling down to a lower time frame? To look for a better zone to trade away from. You can see this is a beautiful order block in this lower time frame. This is an engulfing order block. You can see from the time frame we have already refined before, then we also mark 50%. So now we have a very good sniper entry. Let's go back to the 1 hour to look at the zone we refined. So now this is the area where we would have been expecting price to retest to drop, but price did not retest. Price just continued dropping. So pay close attention. If you do not pay attention, you would miss out on important lessons and clues. So let us move on to look out for other patterns that played out. What have we done on the higher time frame? We have marked out our zones that meet all rules. So right here you can see price grab liquidity, but right here we don't have any strong order block at the low, so we ignore such, because the strong order block you should be expecting to trade away from should be exactly in the low. You don't trade from this zone, but if you are stubborn and you trade from that zone, it is left to you. So right here we have another one where price grabs liquidity. However, at this zone we don't have a strong order block, so we ignore such. So it is best to have a strong order block. Wow, this is a beautiful pattern. So as you can see, immediately price breaks this resistance, price tries to find a stronger resistance, and price created this pattern. You can see this strong order block here. So what do you do next? What you do is very simple. You mark it. Once you mark this order block right here, you mark 50%, and although on this trade you would have been stopped out because price still came up here before it spiked, before it dropped. So right there we can see a strong pattern. So mind you, once the liquidity grab happens, you look out for a strong pattern, which is the one of the rules we are looking out for. Oh, this particular pair, it does not print out very clear patterns, as the best patterns are patterns that are very clear. Clear patterns are more dependable. So you can see right here, as price breaks this resistance, price does what? Price consolidates. and you can see right here in the eye, price gives a very beautiful order block pattern, which is a multiple break block. So what do we do? What you do is very simple. You mark the block, then you mark 50%. This is 50% right here. This is 50% right here. You mark it and you wait for price to retest, and you can see once price retested, price dropped. So it is that simple. So the first rule, we look out for a strong support or a strong resistance, a liquidity zone. We wait for price to break it and for price to find a stronger resistance. So you can see as price found a stronger resistance, we now have an order block, a clear order block at the topmost parts, and you set your entry, price activated the order and drop. So you don't need to complicate anything, it is that simple. So the third rule, the order block, the fourth rule, you do what? You refine the order block and you wait for a retest, which is the fifth rule. Always enter on a retest. So just because you can see this order block forming doesn't mean you should jump in. You refine, set your entries, then be patient for a retest. Price would always give a retest. So we can see in this particular pair, we have a liquidity zone, we mark it, and we can see price broke more than two candles, 1 2 3. So we ignore such, try as much as possible to follow every rule to the book. Here we can see another liquidity zone, which is a strong resistance. You can see. So let's go to the lower time frame. So look at the reaction of price in that particular area. So price would always react at these zones. You can see as price reach this area, this is not a clear order block, so we ignore it. The order block has to be clear as we have learned. Let us look out for this. I have another zone here. So let us go ahead to look out for the reaction of price in the other zone that we marked. So we scale to the lower time frame. You can see as price grab liquidity, this is also not a clear order block. So if you don't have a clear order block, we do not act, we do not pull the trigger. We need to be patient for a clear order block, and once we can see a clear order block, then we pull the trigger. So let us research further. Here we can see this support, this strong support is broken, support from the previous week, 10th February. Let's go to the lower time frame and go to February. So at that zone, we are going to see if we have a clear order block. So if you have a clear order block in that zone, then we trade away from it. This is $1 million lesson. Even in mentorships, you won't be taught. So we can see that immediately price broke this low, there's no clear order block as well. That's why they say patience is a virtue. So far on this particular pair, no clear order block as it breaks support and resistances. It does not print a clear order block. So right here we are with BTC USD. So let us mark out zones and see the reaction of price in the zones that we mark out. So here let's see how many candles breaks this high. Okay, let us mark this zone. So we are going to take more examples. ETH so you can see just what we explained is played out here. We have a strong resistance. As the week opened, it was taken out. you can see a bullish engulfing. So mind you, once you see a pattern on the H4, you don't need to scale down to the lower time frame. This is an exception. So as you can see this pattern right here, what do? We simply just mark out the order block and refine it. Now you just refine it to 50%. So once you refine it, you set your entry. You can even go to a lower time frame to refine further. You can go to the 15 minutes to get a sniper entry. So you can see what we have here on the 15 minutes. We have an order block in this zone. So you just wait for price to hit that order block. This is the order block on the 15 minutes. You wait for price to hit it and you expect price to drop. So you can see after refining the order block, this is the beautiful zone here. We already have the grab of liquidity, the break of this resistance, price trying to find a stronger resistance, stronger sellers in this zone, and expect price to drop. So you could have set 1 to 4 RR, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, as the case may be. So that is that for that. Right here we can see no retest. So let us go to BTC USD. Let's take more examples. So right here we can see this was taken out. You can see another block here. We mark out 50%. Mark out 50%. Did you mark out 50%? You can even switch to the lower time frame to look for a better entry with a very tight stop loss. You go and look out for a tight entry, an entry that is as tight as possible. So once we have that in place, all we do is just wait for price to hit and drop. So where is the place we marked out? Okay, this is the zone we marked out. So you can see this other block here. So now we expect price to let me remark it. Let me delete this box and remark it. So we can see this other block here. In an attempt to refine, we have a very sweet zone here. You can see this sweet spot. So we expect price to come to this sweet spot since we already marked it from the zone in the 4 hours. And what happened? The price came to that exact block, and immediately price came to the block. You can see price dropped. So it is that simple. So let us scale down. We have marked the strong support and resistance zones. We have marked a lot. So now let us scale down to the lower time frame to see the reaction of price in these zones. Let us go to the 1 hour to see the reaction of price in these zones. So if price breaks the support to the downside, what do you expect? We expect a stronger support to be created if all rules are met. So right here you can see price breaking this strong resistance, and it's printed out another block formation. And what do? We simply just refine it by marking 50%. It's that simple. So you can see immediately price retested with this candle and dropped. So on the 4 hour, let's look at it on the 4 hour. This is the zone here. So you can see price did the retest on the lower time frame and dropped. So let's go back to the 1 hour to look out for more zones. So all you have to do is to be patient and follow all the rules. The first rule: identify a strong support or strong resistance, which are liquidity zones. You look out for the break of the support or the resistance with either 1 or 2 candles, and after the break you look out, go to the lower time frame to look for a strong order block that meets all the rules, and you enter on the retest. Here, no strong order block, so we just simply ignore it. Here, no strong order block too. We only work with zones that offer here we have a strong order block, but price did not retest, because if we marked out 50% of this order block, price wouldn't have retested, so price just continued dropping. This would have been the zone we want to enter, but price did not retest. Price just continued dropping to the downside. Here also no strong order block, so we simply focus on zones that a strong order block appears. Here no strong order block at the exact top, so the strong order block has to be at the topmost area. If it is not at the topmost area, you simply just ignore. Yeah, there's another block, but price did not retest. Yeah, there's a strong order block, price did not retest. So once price prints the strong order block, you wait and you enter on the retest. That is why patience is always a virtue in trading. So on the higher time frame, we have already marked out the zones. Here there's a strong order block, no retest. You just have to be patient. Price will always give another opportunity to either buy or sell. Yeah, no strong order block. So without the appearance of a strong order block, we do nothing. So right here you can see in this zone there's a strong order block. It was marked 50%. I don't know if price made it to 50% of this block. However, it's not compulsory you must mark 50%. If you are okay with the distance, you might not mark it further down. So you can see after this other block here, price retested and jumped up. So most of the times the reason why we mark 50% is if the stop loss is too wide, so as to get a sniper entry, a very tight stop loss. So as always, revise on your own, watch the chart on your own, train your eyes to spot these patterns and these reversal zones, and I can assure you that success is yours. So to recap all we have said, we look out for strong support and resistance. We wait for price to break the support or the resistance. We wait for price to print out a stronger once price breaks it, it should not be more than 1 or 2 candles. Then we go to the lower time frame and we look out for a strong order block. Then we wait and we enter on the retest. So it is that simple. That is a simple counter trading strategy to trade your cryptocurrencies, and it is nothing but a cakewalk once you understand how it works. It becomes very simple. And mind you, once you scale down to a lower time frame, you can even scale down to the 30 minutes or 15 minutes to look out for a strong order block depending on your technical prowess and how good you are technically. But I use the 1 hour as an example because it is easier to spot a strong order block on the 1 hour than the lower time frame, as advanced skills are needed to be able to spot a strong order block on the lower time frame. So you can see in this zone in the lower time frame we have an order block that price retested before price went up. This is it here. So price retested this order block after the break of the support. Okay, is at this zone. Let's look at the lower zone. Although those ones it could be a re-entry. However, re-entries is a class for another day. So preferably for this class, we want the order block to be at the topmost or the bottom level of the chart, not in the middle. Okay, this is the bottom, I guess this is the bottom area. On the bottom area here, we don't have a strong order block. We don't have a strong order block at the bottom area. So plan your trade your plan, and most importantly, manage your risk and emotions, because an emotional trader is nothing but a losing trader. So at all times, so on this particular pair, we have price approaching a strong resistance. So once price breaks it, you just wait for the reaction of price.